There are 5 students who appeared for RBI Grade B exam. Paper consists of 100 questions with 1 mark for each correct answer and 0.25 marks for each wrong answer. So basically it's talking about 5 students who appeared for a particular exam, right? The RBI Grade B exam, which consists of 100 questions, right? Which consists of 100 questions. The process is that we get 1 mark for each correct answer, right? And 0.25 marks for each wrong answer, right? 0.25 marks for each wrong answer. Now I think the directions given here are not very clear, because you actually don't get 0.25 marks for each wrong answer, but you get penalized by 0.25 marks for each wrong answer. This should be minus 0.25. I mean, I'm taking it for granted that it is minus 0.25. It has not been given very clearly, but yeah, it's not 0.25, but it's minus 0.25, right? When you go wrong, you get minus 0.25 marks and not plus 0.25. Yeah. So look at the table now. So we have these 5 names here: Aditya, Pushkar, Anshuman, Alka, and Avanish. And then the data given here is about the number of questions attempted, the right questions, wrong questions, and marks obtained. And like you can see, a lot of values are missing here, right? I think at least 2 values or 2 values for each person is missing. Like Aditya's case, the number of questions attempted is given to us, but the right questions and wrong questions have not been given. Also, the marks obtained is given. Yeah. So I think we got to figure out what is the number of right questions and wrong questions that Aditya has answered. And similarly for other students also, 2 of the 4 values are missing, right, for each of the students. So I think unless we finish the table, unless we complete the table here, we'll not be able to proceed with the questions. Like the first one that you see here, the first question that you see here says difference between total right number of questions of all students together and totally wrong number of questions of all students together is. So for this question to be solved, we need to know the number of right questions answered by each student and number of wrong questions answered by each student. Only then we can take the difference of these 2 totals. All right. So even for the first question to be answered, we have to fill the data. So let's try and fill the data first, right? Let's fill the table first, and after that we will look at answering the questions. Right? Remember, 5 questions have been asked. Usually 5 questions are asked in data interpretation. So we've got 5 questions here. What you see on the screen is only the first one. So while it may take a couple of minutes to fill the data, it is worth it, because once the data is filled, once the table is complete, you can very easily answer the 5 questions asked. Now, how do you do that? See, let's assume that the number of right questions are R and number of wrong questions are W. In fact, here also I think it doesn't make sense logically. It's not the right questions or wrong questions, but it is the right answers or wrong answers. For each right answer, you get 1 mark. For each wrong answer, you get minus 0.25 marks. But then, yeah, let's not get too much into the correctness of the data there, but try and fill it now. So yeah, what you see in the first column is the table number of questions attempted, total number of questions attempted, right? Second column talks about the number of right answer, third column talks about the number of wrong answers, and the fourth column is about the marks obtained. Now remember, for each person, what is 78? 78 is the sum of R plus W, right answers plus wrong answers. See, he has attempted 78 questions. Out of these 78, some are right and some are wrong. So the total of right and wrong is 78. Similarly, for all the other guys also, the total of right plus wrong is given in the first column, right? 92, 98, and so on. Here, of course, for Alka, the total number of questions itself is missing, but right plus wrong should be equal to whatever value that comes here. For Avanish, the number of right answers plus wrong answers is equal to 56, right? Anshuman, number of right answers plus wrong answers is equal to 98, and so on. Yeah. Now the question is about the marks obtained. How do you get this value, marks obtained? See, we know that for each right answer, you're going to get 1 mark. And for each wrong answer, you will be given minus 0.25 marks. So how will you find out the total marks obtained by a student? See, number of right answers into 1 plus number of wrong answers into minus 0.25. So this comes out to be R minus 0.25 can be taken as 1 by 4. So W by 4. So basically what is given in the column number 4 here is R minus W by 4. R minus W by 4. You're getting it? R, W and R minus W by 4. So if you see, we have got 2 equations in terms of R and W. There are only 2 variables. The 2 variables are R and W. And what are the 2 equations? We know the sum of R and W, R plus W equals to 78 for Aditya. And then we also know that R minus W by 4 equals to 70.5. So 2 equations and 2 variables. Can you not solve? Yes, you can solve very easily. Yes or no? So solve and find out what is R and what is W. Do the same process for the remaining guys and fill the table first. That's the first step. Once you have done it, you'll be able to crack it very easily. You're getting it? So let's work for Aditya first, right? So for Aditya, we know that R plus W equals to 78. And R minus W by 4 equals to 70.5. R minus W by 4 equals to 70.5. Yeah. Now you can add or subtract the equations like whatever you want to do. Yeah. Let's subtract the two equations. So what happens if you subtract R and minus R gets cancelled? W minus of minus W by 4 becomes plus W by 4. Yeah. So W plus W by 4 is 5W by 4. 5W by 4 equals to 78 minus 70.5. 78 minus 70.5 is 7.5. Yeah. So what is the value of W here from this one? 7.5 times 4 is 30. 30 by 5 is 6. So W is equal to 6. Yeah. So for Aditya, W is equal to 6. This is 6. Now understand, R plus W is 78, out of which W is 6. So R should be 72. Done. So you know the values for Aditya. Now do the same thing for other guys as well. Same thing as in, it need not be the same kind of a solution, but you just have to play with the equation. Like for example here, he says the total number of questions attempted by Pushkar is 92, out of which 76 are right. So how many are wrong? 92 minus 76. 92 minus 76 is 16. Right? Or 76 plus 16 is 92. So total 92 is obtained. Now find out the marks. How will you get the marks? See, for each wrong answer, he gets 0.25 marks penalty. So for 16 wrong answers, it will be 16 into 0.25, which is 4. For correct answers, he get 1. So 76 into 1, 76. And here minus 4. 76 minus 4, 72. So this total is going to be 72. Without putting pen on paper. You're able to follow. Multiply this by 1 and multiply this by minus 0.25. So 76 into 1 is 76. 16 into minus 0.25 is 4. 76 minus 4, 72. Anshuman, total number of questions attempted 98, of which 36 are wrong. So how many should be correct? 98 minus 36, which is 62. Right? 62 are correct for Anshuman. Yes or no? 62 are correct, 36 are wrong. 62 plus 36 is 98. Now how will you get the score? 36 into 0.25 or 36 by 4 basically. 36 by 4 is 9. 62 minus 9. 62 minus 9 is 53. So marks obtained by Anshuman, total marks obtained by Anshuman is 53. You're able to follow. 62 into 1, 36 into minus 1 by 4. So 62 minus 9. Next, for Alka, if you see, this is a different case now. Alka's case, he says number of right questions are 30. The total number of questions and wrong questions have not been given, but marks obtained is 27.5. So basically for Alka what happens is R minus W by 4 equals to 27.25. What is R? R is equal to 30. So substitute 30. So if I substitute R equals to 30, we get W by 4 equals to 30 minus C. R is equal to 30, remember here. Right? So W by 4 will be 30 minus 27.25. What is 30 minus 27.25? 30 minus 27.25 will be 2.75. Yeah? 2.75. Which implies W is 2.75 times 4. 2.75 times 4 is 11. Yeah? So there are 11 wrong answers. You're getting it? So 11 wrong answers. So what's the total number of questions that Alka has attempted? 30 plus 11, 41. You can verify if you want, right? 30 into 1 is 30, 11 into 0.25 is 11 by 4, 2.75. 30 minus 2.75 is 27.25. Now comes the last case, which is Avanish, right? What happens in case of Avanish? 56 total is given and total marks is also given, 53.2. Like same like Aditya, right? The total number of questions attempted and total number of marks is given. So again, solve the two equations like what we have done here and arrive at the number of right questions and wrong questions. However, one challenge that we have here is the marks obtained is given as 53.2, which I don't think is the right value, because when you have 1/4 negative marking, right, 0.25 negative marking, no combination of right and wrong answers can give you 53.2. It should either be 53.25 or it should be 53.5. You're getting it? It should either be 53.25 or 53.5. Yeah. So and how do you decide? I think solve the equations for both the values. It cannot be 53.2. It is either 53, like I said, 53.25. That's an error, right? 53.25, or it should be 53.5. So I'm sure when you solve for these two values, you will find that only one combination is correct and that can be taken as the right one. Yeah. Let me do that quickly. I hope this doesn't happen in the exam. I mean, this question has been chosen from the forum. I don't know who had posted it, but there is an error there. So I'm trying to fix the error first, so that we can find out the number of right and wrong answers. Okay. So here we go. Let's say 53.25. What happens if we take 53.25? Basically, R plus W is 56. R plus W is 56. And R minus W by 4 is 53.25. R minus W by 4 is 53.25. So solve for it now. So again, if I subtract the two equations, R and R gets cancelled. W plus W by 4, 5W by 4 equals 56 minus 53.25. 56 minus 53.25 is 2.75, right? 2.75. You're able to follow. Now, when you solve for W, what do we get? 2.75 into 4 is 11. 11 by 5. This is the challenge. Number of wrong answers here comes out to be 11.5. 11 by 5. What is 11 by 5? 2.2. Now, can the number of wrong answers be 2.2? No, not possible. See, number of wrong answers has to be an integer, right? So it cannot be 2.2. It cannot be 2.2, which means it cannot be 53.25. I'm telling you why are we, how are we able to decide that 53.25 is incorrect? 53.25 is incorrect because 53.25, if taken as the value here, gives us the number of wrong answers as 2.2, which is not possible. So 53.25 is wrong. Let us now check for 53.5. I'm sure that should satisfy. Yeah. So let me try for 53.5. Now what happens? R plus W. R plus W is 56 and R minus W by 4 equals to 53.5. So solving in a similar fashion will give us 5W by 4 equals to 2.5. Yeah. So which means W equals to 2. W is equal to 2. Yes or no? 2.5 times 4 is 10. 10 by 5 is 2. So number of wrong answers are 2. If number of wrong answers are 2, number of right answers have to be 54 because total is 56. So 54 plus 2, 56. So this is how you can find out all the missing values. Right? This is how you can find out all the missing values. Yeah. Now that you've done this, answering the questions will become very easy. Okay. So let's look at the questions now. What I will do is I'll just move to the next slide. In the next slide, I've got all the values pre-filled, right? So that all this rough work gets erased here and we have space to solve the questions, right? So let me just jump to the next one, right? The question remains the same. Difference between total right number of questions of all students and total wrong number of questions of all students. So the next slide. Okay, I have some challenge here. For some reason, I'm unable to erase the whole stuff. Why is it so? Okay, let us solve this question. I think first one, difference between total right number of questions, right? Total right number of questions of all the students together and total wrong number of questions of all the students together. So total right number of questions, this total, and total wrong number of questions is this total. Take the difference of this two. So 72, do it mentally, right? 72 plus 76 is 148. 148 plus 62 will be 210. 210 plus 30 is 240. 240 plus 54 is 294. Yeah, 294. So this total is 294. And then look at the next total, total of wrong answers. 6 plus 16 is 22. 22 plus 36 is 58. 58 plus 11 is 69. And 69 plus 2 is 71. Yeah. So the pen stops writing suddenly. 71. Yeah. So we have to take the difference of these two. So answer should be 294 minus 71. What is 294 minus 71? It should be 223. So option 3, 223 is the answer to this question. Right? The total number of right answers, difference the total number of wrong answers should be 223. All right. Here's the next question. Look at this. Marks obtained by Aditya and Pushkar together is what percentage of the marks obtained by Anshuman, Avanish and Alka together? So this is a simple X is what percent of Y type of a question, right? Marks obtained by Aditya and Pushkar together is what percent of the marks obtained by the remaining three guys together. So X is what percent of Y? X is what percent of Y? X by Y into 100. So just do that calculation and get the required answer. So marks obtained by Aditya and Pushkar together, we know that the value is 70.5 plus 72, and marks obtained by the other three guys, Anshuman, Alka and Avanish together is this. So 70.5 plus 72 is what percent of 53 plus 27.25 plus 53.5. Of course, he's asked us to do a approximate calculation here, right? So do that. So 70.5 plus 72 divided by, this is x. What is y? 53 plus 27.25 plus 53.5. X is what percent of y? X by y into 100. Now simplify this to get the answer. So 70.5 and 72 is 142.5, right? 142.5 And what's the denominator here? See, 53 plus 27 will be 80. 80 and 53 is 133. 133, and then in decimals we have 0.5 and 0.25. So 0.75. 133.75. 133.75. You're getting it? Or 53 and 53 is 106. 106 and 27 is 133. 133 and 0.75 is 133.75. So basically 142.5 divided by 133.75 into 100. The immediate reaction after doing this calculation should be that answer will be greater than 100%. Answer is going to be greater than 100%. Why is it so? Because the numerator is more than denominator. Yes or no? 142 and 133.75. Numerator is more than denominator. So answer should be more than 100%. Now, without proceeding with further calculation, you first need to eliminate the wrong answers. It's a very, very important skill that you must build. Yeah, eliminate the wrong answers at each step of your calculation. That way you may arrive at the right answer without doing the complete calculation. So here, when I know that answer is more than 100%, option 2, option 3 and option 4 straight away get eliminated, right? We are now left with only two options, option 1 or option 5. If let's say one more option gets eliminated, then without doing the calculation we can mark the next one as the answer. I mean the left out one as the answer. But here of course there's something left out, so we have to complete the calculation. Now what do we do? See, approximate calculation is to be done. So I can take 142.5 as let's say 142 and the denominator 133.75 as 134. So 142 by 134 into 100, right? 142.5 by 134 into 100. Yeah, approximately. Now if you go back to the video on speed maths and refer to how do we do percentage based calculations, I had told you that try to split the numerator in terms of denominator. So I would say 142 is not 142. 142 is 134 plus 8. 142, you are better off taking it as 134 plus 8. Sorry. Right? It's 134 plus 8. Why is it 134 plus 8? Why not 140 plus 2 or 130 plus 12? Because the denominator is 134. So this way what happens? I can now break it as 134 by 134 plus 8 by 134. So 134 by 134 is 100%. This is 100%. What more? 8 more. 8 is what percentage of 134? 8 is definitely more than 1%. See, try and look at the options. One is in terms of 6.54, the other is in terms of 1.71. You understand? If you take what is 1% of 134? 1% of 134 is 1.34. Yeah. What is 10% of 134? 10% is 13.4. What is 5% of 134? 5% of 134 will be 6.7. You understand? So this is definitely more than 6.7. 10% of 134 is 13.4. 5% is 6.7. 8 is more than 6.7. That means 8 is more than 5%. So overall, the answer should be more than 100 plus 5%. More than 105%. So option 5 also get eliminated. And hence, option 1 is the correct answer. Option 1, 106.54 has to be the correct answer. Remember, we have not done the complete calculation. First, option 2, option 3 and option 4 were eliminated based on the logic that answer has to be greater than 100%. Then the logic that we used is answer should be more than 105%, because after taking 100%, extra what we have here is 8, and 8 is more than 5% of 134. So overall answer cannot be 101%. It should be more than 105%. So this is what is really important, right? For you to be able to score more in the exams, you should be able to do the calculations smartly. Okay, so that's the answer for the second question from this data interpretation table. Let's go to the third one. Here's the third question. Try this out now. Now that we have filled the data in the table, you should be able to answer these questions really quickly. So try it. If the penalty of the wrong answer is 0.33, then the marks obtained by Aditya, Anshuman and Pushkar together is. So he says penalty is 0.33 instead of 0.25. Then what happens? Try it out. You have 1 minute for this. Your time starts now. So instead of 0.25, you have to consider the penalty as 0.33 here. Okay, I can see answers coming in here. Abhishek says it should be 190.86. Shailendra, Nagaraj Rao, Isha, all you guys have got option 3, huh? Okay, the time is up. Let's look at the solution now. So the next question here reads that if the penalty of the wrong answer is 0.33, then the marks obtained by Aditya, Anshuman and Pushkar together is. So Aditya, Anshuman and Pushkar together have obtained how many marks if the penalty is 0.33 instead of 0.25? Remember, as per the original directions, the penalty is 0.25, but here he says the penalty is 0.33, right? The penalty is 0.33. So how do we solve this? How do we solve this question now? I think smart persons will not do the full calculation like I've mentioned in the previous question as well. First of all, let us find out what is the original total. What is the actual total marks that they've obtained when the penalty was 0.25? How much will that be? 70.5 plus 72 is 142.5. 142.5 plus 53 is 195.5. You understand? 70 and 72 is 142. 142 plus 53 is 195. And then 0.5, 195.5. Remember that the penalty has increased now. It was 0.25 earlier. Now it is 0.33. Penalty has increased by how much? From 0.25, it has become 0.33. Which implies it has increased by 0.8, which means your negative marking has increased by 0.8, 0.08 in fact. Yes or no? Yes or no? The penalty has increased by 0.08 marks. Yeah, penalty has increased by 0.08 marks. Now, how will that act and change the score? First and foremost verification is when the penalty has increased, the score has to reduce. When a penalty has increased, the score has to reduce. So obviously, the new total will be less than 195.5. The original total is 195.5. But the new total after an increment in the penalty should be less than 195.5. Verify the options. Option 1, possible, 192.21 is less than 195.5. But look at option 2, it's stupid. How will the score increase? Score should decrease. So option 2 gets eliminated. Option 3, possible. 190.86 is possible. Option 4, again, stupid option. 219 is an impossible answer. Option 5 is possible. 194.22 is also possible. Because we know that the answer should be less than 195.5. So I think this is what I'm stressing on again and again. You should build the ability to eliminate the wrong answers with using some logic or after each step that you perform. So in the very first step, we have found the total. It comes out to be 195.5. And then we know that actual answer should be less than 195.5. 2 options have got eliminated. By any chance, let's say 4 options get eliminated in the first step itself. Then you're through. You know what the correct answer is without having to put pen on paper. Yeah. Now, how do we deal with this? What is the next step? Next step is to find out what is the total decrement. I think instead of finding out the new total again, like 72 into 1 minus 6 into 0.33, instead of doing all that, just find out the change. What is the change? See, the score will reduce by 0.08 for every wrong answer. What are the total wrong answers? Total number of wrong answers. Find out the total number of wrong answers. 6 plus 16, 22. 22 plus 36. 6 plus 16, 22. 22 plus 36 is 58. You're able to follow? 58. So I know that the total number of wrong answers that these 3 guys together have given is 58. Which means the total reduction, the total decrement in their score should be 58 into 0.08. This will be total reduction in the value. So from 195.5, you have to subtract this 58 into 0.08 and you're done. Don't do it independently for each person. That's not needed. Total number of wrong answers are 58. 6 plus 16, 22. 22 plus 36, 58. For every wrong answer, the score should reduce by 0.08 more. Already 0.25 has been included here. Remember, don't multiply 58 by 0.33. If you multiply 58 by 0.33, then you have to multiply 72 plus 76 plus 62 by 1 and then take the difference. But instead of doing all that, we know that the further reduction is 0.08. So just multiply 58 by 0.08 and subtract that from the original total. That will give you the answer. Yeah. So 58 into 0.08. 58 into 8 basically. What is 58 into 8? 50 into 8 is 400. 8 into 8 is 64. So this is 464. You understand? 58 into 8. 58 into 8 is 464. But 58 into 0.08 will be 4.64. So this comes out to be minus 4.64. That's it. You're done. 195.5 minus 4.64. Answer should be 195.5 minus 4.64. So the score will reduce by approximately 5 marks. 4.64 is approximately 5 marks. Look at it. 195.5 will not give you 192. Eliminated. It will not give you 194. So answer has to be this. Yes or no? In fact, 195 minus 4 is 191. 5 minus 0.64 is minus 0.14. So 191 minus 0.14 will give you 190.86. Exactly this value. But then I am saying even that calculation is not needed. You don't have to do a proper calculation. Understand that this is approximately 5. So 195 minus 5 is 190. This is 192. This is 194. Eliminated. So option 3 is the answer. So try to solve this now. If the passing percentage marks in the exam is 50 marks, then at least how many questions has to be answered right by Pushkar? He attempted 92 questions. Try this now. Interesting one. He says if the pass percentage is 50 marks, then how many questions should be answered right by Pushkar? At least how many questions should be answered right by Pushkar? Try this quickly. Alright, so different answers have come in. 58, 54, 59. Tell me, what have you done to arrive at the answer? $55. So 58, 59, 55, all these have been marked. 56, Bikram has got 56. Nobody has marked 60, huh? Tell me, what did he do to get the answer? Tanmay, Ayushi, Mamta, Shruti, Priyanka, Nagraj, Isha, Yogaraj, Neeraj, Ashish, Nitin, Arvind has marked 60. Yeah. So I think all the 5 options have been covered. Yeah. All you guys have together covered all the 5 options. Options verification. Yeah. Did you do verification using options? Then why is that you are getting different answers? If all of you have done verification using the options, why are you getting different answers? He says the marks to be obtained is 50. Then at least how many questions has to be answered right by Pushkar? Got it? Alright, time is up. Let us discuss the solution to this one now. So here the question says if the passing percentage marks in the exam is 50 marks, then at least how many questions has to be answered right by Pushkar? He attempted 92 questions. So this time he says that the passing marks, I don't understand the use of the, percentage here, but then if the passing marks is 50 marks, because anyway he has given the absolute value, right? So percentage is not needed. So if the pass marks are 50, then this should be THEN, right? Then at least how many questions have to be answered right by Pushkar? He has attempted 92 questions. Yes, as per the data also, Pushkar has attempted 92 questions. So if you look at Pushkar's case, you know that right plus wrong is equal to 92. Yes. And you also know that the pass marks is 50. Pass marks is 50. So at least how many? Minimum how many questions should be right? Minimum how many questions have to be answered rightly by Pushkar? What do we do? One way is to go by options. Just check from the options one after the other. Like, again, when you're using options, I would say be smart. Try to start with the smallest option. See, he's asking us to find out at least how many, right? Minimum how many questions have to be right. So start with the minimum value in the options there. 55. Start with 55. See if by using 55, are you getting 50 marks or not? See, 55 are correct. Out of 92, if 55 are correct, then remaining 37 are wrong. So find out the score with 55 right answer and 37 wrong answers. Is it giving you 50 or not? If yes, you can mark that as the answer. If not, you have to go for the next higher option, which is 56, and so on. Don't go option 1 by option 2, then option 3, then option 4, and then option 5. Don't go in the sequence of options. Don't go in the, sequence of options like I said. Go by the ascending order. That's one way of doing it if at all you want to go by options. Otherwise, try to solve it directly. How do you do it directly? See, we know that the sum of right questions plus wrong questions is 92. Let's assume that the marks that he has to score is 50. He has to score 50 marks. So what happens? R minus W by 4 should be equal to 50. We have discussed this in the past. You know why we are taking this equation. For each right answer, he gets 1 mark. For each wrong answer, he is penalized by 0.25 marks. Now solve for this and find out R and W. So we'll subtract the two equations. R minus R gets cancelled. W plus W by 4. 5W by 4 equals to 42. Which implies W comes out to be what? 168 by 5. 168 by 5 will be 33.6. Yeah? 168, right? 168 by 5 is 33.6, correct? Which means number of wrong answers has to be 33.6. I mean, of course, number of wrong answers cannot be 33.6. It has to be an integer value. But let's find out the number of right answers. What's the number of right answers? Out of 92, 33.6 are wrong. So how many should be correct? What should be R? If W is 33.6, R should be what? R should be 58.4. 58.4. Yes or no? Right? So if you want to score 50 marks, exactly 50 marks, if you want to score exactly 50 marks, equal to 50, you see, exactly 50 marks, you have to answer 58.4 questions correct. If you answer anything less than this, if you answer less than 58.4, your score will reduce further. But I want Pushkar to pass. We want Pushkar to pass, right? How many questions you should answer should be answered right by Pushkar so that he can pass. So for him to pass, he should answer at least, for him to pass, he should score at least 50 marks, minimum 50 marks. And for him to score 50 marks, he should answer at least 58.5 questions correct. But 58.4 questions correct. But 58.4 questions cannot be correct, right? It has to be an integer value. We cannot get half of a question right or 0.4 of a question right. So which means you have to take the nearest integer, nearest higher integer. So I can say that the minimum number of questions that have to be correct for Pushkar to score 50 plus or for Pushkar to pass the exam should be 59. See, you cannot take 58. You cannot take 58 because if you take 58, score will reduce, become less than 50. You want the score to be minimum 50. So number of right answers to be minimum 58.4. Minimum 58.4 means 59 right answers. So 59, option 3 has to be the correct answer. You getting it? Let's verify. Let's take 59 right answers and see what happens. So if 59 are right, he will get 59 into 1. If 59 are right, how many will be wrong? 92 minus 59. 92 minus 59 is 33. Yes or no? 92 minus 59 will be 33. 33 into 1 by 4. What is 33 by 4? 33 by 4 is 8.25. Yes or no? 33 by 4 is 8.25. So 59 minus 8.25 will give you 50.75. Yes, he is able to pass the exam. So 59 is the answer. Maybe if you are confused about 59 versus 58, why can't it be 58? Try for 58, see what happens. I have already explained you why it cannot be 58, but let's try for 58. What happens if 58 are correct? If 58 are correct, he'll get 58 into 1 minus 34 into 1 by 4. Because then 34 will be wrong. Total are 92. Out of 92, 58 are correct. So remaining 34 are wrong. Yeah. So 34 by 4. 34 by 4 is how much? 8.5. 34 by 4 is 8.5. So 58 minus 8.5 will make it 49.5. Is he able to pass the exam? No. 49.5 means you're failed. For you to pass, you have to score minimum 50. That is the reason 58 cannot be the answer. Yeah. Of course, 55 and 56 are also ruled out. 60 will also help him pass, but we are looking for at least how many questions have to be right. Yes or no? 60 also will help him pass the exam. By scoring 60 questions properly, by getting 60 questions right, he will score more than 50. But the idea is not to score more than 50. The idea is to score more than 50 with the minimum number of questions being right. In that case, option 3, 59 will be the answer. Yeah? I hope all of you have followed. 59, option 3 is the correct answer without going by options. See, when you go by options, you'll have to do 2-3 iterations, right? Like I said, you have to go by options means you have to start with the smallest value here. Logically, I mean, a smart person will, even if you go by options, you should not go by option 1 and then option 2 and then option 3. No, you should choose the minimum value. Minimum value means you will first verify 55, then you will verify 56, then you will verify 58, then you will come to 59. So 4 steps are involved. Maybe if you are very good in calculations, you may jump to 58 out of 55. All that can happen, but assuming you check each and every option, you will need 4 steps. So go by the 2 simple equations. R plus W equals to 92, R minus W by 4 equals to 50. You will get the value of R as 58.4, which means minimum 59 questions have to be correct. Clear to all of you? Should we go for the next one now? Here we go. What is the percent of marks obtained by all of them together? Now this looks like a simple one. What is the percent of marks obtained by all of them together? Try this. What is the percent of marks obtained by all of them together? Quick. Now this should be simple. You know their marks obtained. Find out the percentage of marks obtained by all of them together. Option 5, did you all get option 5? 55.25. So let's take this up. The last question from this very interesting data interpretation set with missing values. What is the percent of marks obtained by all of them together? Percent of marks obtained by all of them together. You know the marks obtained by all of them. Find out the percentage of marks. So get the total first, divided by 500, because each person can score a maximum of 100 marks, right? See, there are 100 questions with 1 mark each. So the maximum marks that can be scored is 100 into 100. If there are 5 persons, the total score becomes 500. Total maximum score becomes 500. Out of 500, they have scored this much. Get that percentage. Yeah. So find out the total. 70 and 72 is 142. 142 and 53 is 195. 195 and 27 is 222. 222 and 53 will be 275. Yes or no? 275, and then 0.5 and 0.5 is 1, and this is 1 point, and 0.25 is 1.25. So 275 and 1.25 is 276.25. Total comes out to be 276.25. Yes or no? Let's quickly check it again. I'm assuming you have followed the calculation, right? Do it mentally. Don't put pen on paper for this. Add the integer parts first. So 70, 72, 142. 142 plus 53, 195. 195 plus 27, 222. 222 plus 53. So 225 and 275. Yeah. Then decimal parts will add up to 1.25. So 275 and 1.25 is 276.25. 276.25 divided by 500, because the total maximum is 500 into 100. So basically 276.25 by 5. Definitely more than 50. So option 4 gets eliminated. But how much is it? See, 250 is 50 percentage. Then we have 25 is 5 percentage. So more than 55 percentage. Yes or no? More than 55 percentage. More than 55 means 2 and 3 also get eliminated. In fact, it will be just more than 55 percentage. And hence option 5 is the answer. So you're getting it. 275 by 500. 275 by 500 is 55 percentage. 275 by 500 is 55 percentage. This is 276.25. A little more than 275. Which means a little more than 55 percentage. It cannot go up to 59. Yes or no? 59 percentage would mean 295. But do we have 295 here? No. So option 1 also gets eliminated. So final answer should be option 5, 55.25.